This story was sent to me on Twitter by official True Drew, and this is another Straggtale story. And this one right here is going to be one of the worst Straggtales you will get from me. Usually the ones I give are very light. This one is very heavy. So in this picture you see two people. On the left you see a woman by the name of Victoria Jackson, and on the right is her 10-month-old son Malachi. Now, and by the way, this is coming out of Florida, so you already know. But the story goes that Victoria raised $4,000 for her son's funeral. Her son was killed. But that's not even the issue of this story right here. Yes, the issue is that her son is dead, but the biggest issue is the person who did it. If you would like to know who the person is that killed her son, look no further than the person next to her son. Yes, this bitch murdered her son and had the nerve to raise $4,000 for a funeral after she knows she killed her son because she confessed to doing it. It says a Florida woman raised $4,000 for a funeral expenses for her late son before confessing that she had murdered the infant child. Victoria Jackson's 10-month-old son Malachi was found unresponsive in his crib in Clearwater on May 24th. The boy was pronounced dead after being taken to the hospital. Following Malachi's death, Jackson made a plea for help in paying for his funeral on GoFundMe. I want to give my son the best memorial service I can. He died last Friday night, Jackson wrote on the page. I've never been so heartbroken in my life. Please help me take care of my baby one last time. The account had raised over $4,000 before detectives were contacted on October 30th by a friend of Jackson's who said the woman had confessed that she intentionally suffocated Malachi. Jackson was arrested and admitted to suffocating her son with a pillow while he slept. The GoFundMe page was taken down and the company will offer refunds to those who donated. Well, shout out to GoFundMe for doing that because they were basically giving money to a murderer. And who knows what she was actually going to do with those extra funds outside of the funeral cost. They said she raised over $4,000. This bitch murdered her son for money. That's why she definitely deserves to be a part of this Straggtales story. Because only a strag would engage in such activity like this. This bitch deserves the most heinous punishment she can possibly get. Don't give her no bond. Don't give her no parole or anything like that. As a matter of fact, throw the entire library at her ass, the whole bookshelf, all of it at her stupid, silly ass. She suffocated her own child to death and had the nerve to set up a GoFundMe to raise money for his funeral, and then probably tricked off the money that the extra amount of money that she got outside of the expenses for the funeral. So she sat up there with all her loved ones to bury a child that she knows she killed, and probably cried crocodile tears, but for her it might have been tears of joy. She actually put money over her child. And I think the worst thing about it is that people felt bad for her. They gave her money to pay for the funeral. So she basically frauded the people. That's what she did. Luckily, GoFundMe is refunding or has refunded those people. But she does not deserve to not only be back in society, but she also does not deserve to bear any more children. I hope every person looking at her image right now gets a good look at her face. Do not mess with this chick. Now, this right here is toxic femininity. I do not like having to do stories that involve children being murdered by their children being murdered, period, but children being murdered by their parents. Only 10 months old. He wasn't even a year old. Thankfully, that friend came forward and said something, because this chick would have took this to her grave, which means we would have never known that she killed her own child. We would have just saw her child just up and died. And the fact that this happened back in May and the confession came, it got spilled out in October, lets you know she had no intentions of telling anybody. She was going to go to her grave knowing that she murdered her child and had people believing that he just up and died. And then stole money from other people. So like I said, she stole a life and she stole money. This bitch ain't shit. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. I'll talk to you in the next one. Condolences to the child and not the bitch that he came out of.